It's late, well past 11 p.m., and the streets inside the quiet suburban community lie empty. The sound of crickets blends with the faint hum of streetlights until a single noise breaks the calm. The rhythmic whir of bicycle tires. A man rides slowly through the park, testing out the brand new bike he just bought. It's his community, his neighborhood, his HOA. He isn't bothering anyone, just enjoying the night air and the feeling of smooth gears under his feet. Then headlights swing across the path, cutting through the dark like a spotlight. Two officers pull up beside him. Their flashlights beam straight into his face. Officer 1, what are you doing out here? Man, riding my bicycle that I just got. Officer 1, okay. Man, I live here in this community. What are you doing here? Officer 2, we're just checking the parks. You can't be out here after hours. The man slows his bike, confused. I'm part of the membership. I'm HOA. I'm just riding my new bike through here. The officer repeats, firmer this time. Yeah, but the park's closed. Can I see some ID? The man blinks, disbelief mixing with irritation. Excuse me? ID for riding my bike through my own neighborhood? He exhales sharply. Okay then, supervisor, please. One officer radios in, calm but clipped, requesting a supervisor. Subject claims he lives in the HOA community. The man nods, recording with his phone. Perfect. I'm recording too. Officer 2, you got that ID on you? Man, I do. I just don't see what the big deal is. I literally live here. I'm testing out my new bike. The officer glances at his watch. You know what time it is? Yeah, the man answers. It's 11 o'clock. Anyone seen at the park after 9 p.m. is subject to be stopped. The man shakes his head, half laughing. If you guys have a problem with it, that's fine. I'll leave. I wasn't even staying. I was just circling around. Anyway, but the officer presses on, explaining county code, the words growing colder. It's a county ordinance violation. It's an arrestable offense. The man freezes. An arrestable offense for being in my neighborhood? Right, the officer says. If you're here after hours, it's a violation. Normally, instead of arresting, we just get your ID, verify who you are, and send you on your way. The man nods but still wants that supervisor. Fine, I'll give you my ID. I've got nothing to hide. I'm literally riding my bicycle where I live, but this is over the line. If you're going that route, fine, but bring someone in. The officer sighs. If someone was on your property after hours, no one's on my property, the man interrupts. I live here. This is my HOA. I call you guys when there's a problem. Officer 1, I live here too. I get it. Man, good for you. I live right around the corner. Been here since '99. So why are you harassing me then? That's not harassment. Really? Do I look like I'm doing something wrong? The man gestures at his bike, frustration building. You ever heard of officer discretion? The officer holds out a hand. Can I have your driver's license? You can, but I want a supervisor. He'll be here after I get your license. I'll give it to a supervisor, the man insists. The officer's patience thins. Are you refusing? I'm not refusing. Do you really want to go to jail for a county violation? The man laughs incredulously. Go to jail for riding a bike? He hands over the ID. Here, I don't see what the big problem is. Here, better hold this, he says, passing his phone to record everything. The officer mutters, you're going to be a star on your own video now. The man's voice rises. For my behavior? I can't believe this. I watch videos like this online and can't believe how rude you guys are being to me. That's not rude, the officer replies stiffly. You're just not cooperating. I am cooperating. I asked for a supervisor. I gave him my ID. That's your opinion, the officer says flatly. We're doing our job. The man shakes his head. You think there's officer discretion? I know how this works. You can say you're doing your job, but this isn't right. The officer defends himself. You know how many burglaries we've had here in the park? 10 in the past year, people breaking in, stealing sinks, vandalizing your own community. Sure, the man replies, his tone edged with disbelief. I'm here a lot. I've never seen any of that. The conversation devolves into bureaucracy. That's why we patrol. That's why we stop people. Kids, adults, it doesn't matter, the officer says. The man nods, resigned. Fine. When we're done, I'd like your business cards. He looks around at the flashing lights, muttering under his breath. Now we gotta go through all this. I've already given you my ID. What happened to civil discussion? I'm wearing glasses, riding a bike in my own neighborhood, and somehow I'm in handcuffs. Unreal. The radio crackles again. Supervisor en route. He sighs. You guys talk about community relations. Well, they're horrible right now. The officer tries to reason with him. Can you listen to me from our point of view? The man cuts him off. No, I get it already. I'm a software engineer. I understand procedure. I get it. You don't need to explain it to me again. That's why I stopped in the first place. I thought we could have a civil conversation. Instead, you're putting me in cuffs. He looks down at his wrists, where metal glints under the streetlight. I don't understand what's happening here. I said I understood your point of view. I just don't agree with it. How can two grown men see another man riding his bike, stop him for talking, and then say, you know what? Let's cuff him because he didn't give us what we wanted. Fast enough. The camera lingers on the flashing lights, the empty park behind them, a man whose calm night ride turned into a scene of frustration, power, and disbelief. The man sits on the edge of the curb, hands cuffed, bicycle glinting under the flickering park lights. His voice is steady but weary now. You know, he says, looking up at the officer, I'd sit here and talk with you guys for half an hour. I really would. I just thought it was a little over the top, demanding my ID as the first thing you do when you see me. It feels wrong, like being asked for papers in another era. He takes a deep breath, his tone more thoughtful than defiant. I get it, I do. You've got rules, procedures. You're told to follow them line by line, word for word. Believe me, I understand. I write policies for a living. I'm a software engineer. I understand systems. His voice drops, quieter now. But in my 44 years on this planet, I never thought I'd be cuffed for riding my bike through my own community park. The officer's face remains blank, but his voice is tight. We're just waiting for the supervisor. Then why am I still in handcuffs? The man asks. For a county violation, comes the answer. We're citing you on a warning. The man blinks, stunned. Wait, you're citing me? Yeah, we can. Oh my God, he mutters under his breath. You're actually citing me. Over a bike ride. I really didn't think I was doing anything wrong. I come through here all the time. If anything, I will protect this place. I'm a normal guy, a good neighbor, part of this community. I help keep it safe. The officer doesn't flinch. I understand that. But you're still in violation. You're out here after hours. On a bike. The man's voice cracks with disbelief. Okay, I get it. But this is insane. The officer tries to explain. We were just going to ask what you were doing, identify you, maybe take a few. Fast enough. The camera lingers on the flashing lights, the empty park behind them, a man whose calm night ride turned into a scene of frustration, power, and disbelief. The man sits on the edge of the curb, hands cuffed, bicycle glinting under the flickering park lights. His voice is steady but weary now. You know, he says, looking up at the officer, I'd sit here and talk with you guys for half an hour. I really would. I just thought it was a little over the top, demanding my ID as the first thing you do when you see me. It feels wrong, like being asked for papers in another era. He takes a deep breath, his tone more thoughtful than defiant. I get it, I do. You've got rules, procedures. You're told to follow them line by line, word for word. Believe me, I understand. I write policies for a living. I'm a software engineer. I understand systems. His voice drops, quieter now. But in my 44 years on this planet, I never thought I'd be cuffed for riding my bike through my own community park. The officer's face remains blank, but his voice is tight. We're just waiting for the supervisor. Then why am I still in handcuffs? The man asks. For a county violation, comes the answer. We're citing you on a warning. The man blinks, stunned. Wait, you're citing me? Yeah, we can. Oh my God, he mutters under his breath. You're actually citing me. Over a bike ride. I really didn't think I was doing anything wrong. I come through here all the time. If anything, I will protect this place. I'm a normal guy, a good neighbor, part of this community. I help keep it safe. The officer doesn't flinch. I understand that. But you're still in violation. You're out here after hours. On a bike. The man's voice cracks with disbelief. Okay, I get it. But this is insane. The officer tries to explain. We were just going to ask what you were doing, identify you, maybe take a few. Gardner? Garner. Without the D. Ah, Garner. Got it. The man laughs humorlessly. You guys don't have badge numbers? No. Payroll IDs, then. I'm new, the officer says quickly. The man sighs. Figures. Headlights swing around the corner. Another patrol car pulling in. A new officer steps out, his tone firm but not hostile. What's going on? The first officer gestures. Deputy stopped him for being out here after hours. He's legally allowed to do that. I'm not sure why the guy's giving him a hard time. The man jumps in immediately, his voice calm but passionate. It's not that I'm giving anyone a hard time. I just got my bike together and came out for a quick ride. I literally pulled in, circled the lot to turn around, saw the lights, and came straight to you. I didn't hide, didn't run. I even said hi, and the first thing I get is, get off your bike, give me your ID. No warning, no conversation. He looks the new officer in the eyes. Listen, I get it, you got a job to do. You want to make sure I'm not being reckless or destructive. I respect that. But this is overkill. The new officer folds his arms. This park gets damaged a lot. I live here, the man replies instantly. I'm part of the HOA. I care about this place. I'm up late working, writing code, and when I finished, I wanted to take a ride. That's all. It's heavy to pedal, so I just did one loop, maybe 10 seconds, and came right up to talk to him. That's all on camera. But now I'm in cuffs, surrounded by 3 cops. It's over the top. He shakes his head again. I only asked for a supervisor because I thought maybe someone higher up would actually listen. Usually they do. They talk to me, realize I'm not a threat, and we all move on. The supervisor's tone shifts slightly, firmer now. Actually, you don't have the right to refuse identification. Not identifying yourself during an investigation is considered obstruction. The man's jaw tightens. Obstruction? For asking for a supervisor before handing over my ID? You can't be serious. The silence stretches. The flashing lights paint the park red and blue. The night that started with a simple bike ride now feels like a standoff between reason and authority. 2 worlds colliding under the hum of a street lamp. The quiet night hung heavy over the empty neighborhood park as the man stood there, hands cuffed, his new bicycle leaning helplessly against a bench. The soft buzz of radio chatter filled the silence while 2 officers watched him closely. What are you doing out here? One of them had asked earlier. Just riding my new bike, he replied calmly, explaining that he lived in the community. But it didn't matter. Rules were rules, and the park had been closed for hours. When they demanded his ID, he hesitated, not out of defiance, but disbelief. ID? For riding my bike in my own neighborhood? He asked, shaking his head. All he wanted was a supervisor, a conversation, not confrontation. But within moments, his simple ride had turned into a standoff under the dull glow of a streetlight. He had explained again and again that he was part of the HOA, that he checked the park regularly, that he wasn't a threat to anyone. Still, they pressed on, talking about county ordinances, curfews, and policies. You're in violation for being in the park after hours, one insisted. The man let out a defeated sigh. Fine, if it's that serious, I'll give you my ID. But this feels ridiculous. Even then, they cuffed him, claiming it was procedure. I can't believe this, he muttered. I watch these kinds of videos all the time, but I never thought I'd be the guy in one. When a supervisor finally arrived, the situation only felt heavier. The man attempted to explain that he wasn't causing any trouble. He had simply fixed up his bike and wanted to take it for a ride before bed. I'm 44 years old, he said. I write software. I'm part of this neighborhood, and now I'm standing here in handcuffs for a bike ride. The supervisor listened, but his tone stayed firm. Until we know who you are, we have to assume the worst, he said. That stung more than anything. Assume the worst? The man repeated. You're assuming the worst about someone who lives here. He was told it would just be a warning, but even that felt like punishment for something harmless. Could have been avoided if you'd just handed over your ID sooner, one officer said. The man laughed bitterly. I had it in my hand. You just couldn't wait to escalate. When they mentioned taking him to jail for processing, disbelief flashed across his face. You're arresting me? For riding my bike? He asked. Yes, sir, the supervisor answered calmly. You can call your wife to pick up the bike, or we'll log it as property. He hesitated, then nodded, resigned. Fine. I'll call her. I guess it's all I can do. As they prepare to take him in, the officers ask the routine question. Do you have anything on you that could harm us? He answered honestly. Yeah, my right hip. There's a holstered firearm. Nothing in the chamber. The moment hung tense between them. You didn't mention that before, one officer said sharply. I wasn't hiding it, the man replied, frustrated. I wasn't fighting you. I was just trying to talk. The supervisor shook his head. You understand this could have gone very differently. The man nodded wearily. Yeah, I know. But this is overkill. 3 officers, handcuffs, and a trip to jail, all because I rode through my own neighborhood. As they began walking him toward the patrol car, the red and blue lights reflected across the wet pavement, painting the night in flashes of judgment. The man stayed silent now, exhaustion replacing anger. He had only wanted a few peaceful minutes on his new bike, but instead he found himself at the center of something surreal, a reminder that sometimes, even in your own neighborhood, you could be treated like a stranger. You were given a lawful command, one officer muttered. You delayed compliance. The man looked ahead, his voice barely above a whisper. I just ask questions before obeying blindly. I think that's what any normal person would do. And yet here we are, the supervisor replied. The man gave a faint, broken laugh. Yeah, he said quietly, as the door closed behind him, here we are. Here at Neighbor Wars HQ, we don't just tell stories. We reveal the moments that test patience, pride, and principle. Because when lines are crossed between property, power, and people, the truth always finds its way to the surface.